Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk to you guys about a red dot on your carry gun. Okay, so I got here the Holosun 507C. I have it on top of a Polymer 80 G26 that I built. I've been basically carrying this and shooting this for about 3 weeks now. Now I do have the benefit of being able to carry a gun and shoot a gun every day, so it kind of gives me the ability to test things and learn things really fast. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is actually carrying the gun. Does the optic get in your way? So here's the thing: when it comes to carrying a gun, right? Here's the center line, right? That's the part that goes straight down your body. The further something sticks out from your center line, the more it's going to be in your way. So the grip kind of sticks out. So I'm carrying this G26 with a 10-round magazine. I find that when I use the 12-round magazine that has that little pinky extension, right, makes it a little bit more comfortable to shoot, but that little extra ½ inch that it adds makes a world of difference when I sit in my car. Okay, that kind of goes into the seat behind me. Also, as I'm standing, it kind of makes my shirt stick out just a little bit more. So having that 10-round magazine makes the gun a lot more comfortable to carry, makes it more concealable. So the optic, right, is on the other side of this center line, right, as you're carrying this gun. So if you look at it, it really doesn't stick out that much, right? This optic would have to stick out some 3-4 inches before it would actually, start becoming an issue. So given that the optic is so close to the center line of the pistol while you're carrying it, it's not an issue at all. Okay, the only issue I have found is that the optic becomes a lint trap. Okay, there's always lint that builds up inside this open reflex, which is not an issue, right? Because you can see there's lint in there right now, but as I point this out, yeah, I can still see my 32 MOA circle. And that's another reason why I like the Holosun 507C. I carry this and I use this with the 32 MOA circle only. Okay, it is co-witnessed to these sights, the suppressor height sights. I got a yellow glow in the dark in the front, blank in the back. Really easy to get that dot in there, but most of the time I find that if I just punch out, I can find that circle pretty quickly. Okay, so this is what I've been carrying, and I've been carrying it at basically at the 5 o'clock position. Again, because listen, I'm not a super skinny guy. Some guys, they carry appendix or whatever. I can't put something here in the front and be able to sit in the car and do other things. I have to kind of carry it back here, which is out of the way. If I carry it here at the 3 o'clock position, I find that it's hitting things. It's hitting doorways, it's hitting tables, it's hitting stuff throughout the course of the day. So back here in the 4 or 5 o'clock, that's a place where the gun is really out of my way, comfortable for me to carry. I'm able to do all the things that I need to do throughout the course of the day. Okay, so now what I want to talk to you guys about is actually shooting the gun. Okay, so here's the thing. One of the complaints that people have about optics is that when they come out of the holster, they have to shake the gun around a little bit in order to find that optic, right? To find that reticle. But here's the thing to understand, or not to understand, but to kind of refresh your memory a little bit. When you're shooting at close distance, right, like at this distance over here, where most defensive encounters happen, you're pretty much point shooting the gun anyway. Okay. At this distance, in an oh shit type of situation, I don't have time to find the front sight. I'm coming out, I'm point shooting the gun, and at that distance, without looking for front sight, without looking for reticles on the red dot, I'm able to hit. I took 3 shots, 1, 2, I got 3 hits on the paper, just by throwing my arms towards the target, at close distance. You're going to be able to hit the target, okay? So, now what happens, now that's, let's say at about, I don't know, that's inside of 10 feet right here where I was shooting this and I was moving towards it. So I closed the distance from 10 feet. I probably got within 6 feet, able to put all my bullets on target, in that, whatever that is, 11 by 12 inch paper over there. Let's look at those plates over there, right? Those plates are about, I don't know, some 20, 25 feet. Now at that distance, I have to aim the gun, especially at a small 4-inch target like that. So again, when you come out of the holster, right, a lot of times when they're saying they can't find their reticle on their pistol, right? They can't find that red dot. They're standing there, and they're just basically coming here, coming out, boom, right? And they're saying that they can't find it. They might be a little bit off, but the thing to understand that in a self-defense type of situation, there's a little bit of movement involved, okay? Because you're moving the cover, you're just moving, right? There's a little bit of movement around, even if you're just kind of like sidestepping, right? There's a tiny little bit of movement involved. So here's the thing: what do people do typically when they, when they're trying to find that red dot on their pistol, right? They hold the gun here and they kind of wiggle it a little bit like this so they can find it, right? That's what they're doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shoot those targets. But I'm going to be moving, right? So I'm coming out here. So what happened there, as I was moving towards the target, okay? Put this away. Oh, shirt's in the way. As I'm moving towards the target, what I'm seeing in that glass, I'm seeing that 32 MOA circle moving around like this, okay? I can't even see the fine circle, right? I'm seeing movement. So I'm moving that circle. As I'm going in, it's going like that. I'm able to put shots on target pretty quickly. So that's a 4-inch target at about 30 feet here, and all the shots, including the ones that missed, were within 2 feet of the target, all right? Because I was able to find that circle, put it on the target, and then I was actually able to score a couple of hits on that 4-inch plate over there. So when you add a little bit of movement, right? You add that little bit of movement, all of a sudden that 32 MOA circle, it moves and you can see it. Okay, so that's one of the things you have to kind of factor into this. Now, through all that, right? Even though I have a bright, glow-in-the-dark front sight there, through none of that could I see that. I can't see that. I mean, I was just moving too fast. I'm drawing too fast. I'm trying to get on target too fast. So here's what I've started to gather over about 3 weeks of testing, of carrying and testing the gun. If you're sitting on the firing line with a timer and you're trying to come out and get on target, and you're trying to find your front sights versus the 32 MOA circle or whatever you got the dot, right? You might be a little bit slower, but when you put yourself into a realistic situation, right, where you're trying to shoot a target, you're trying to get that you're gonna find that big bright 32 MOA circle a lot faster than you're gonna find that little dot on your front sight post. The other thing is that when I was shooting, right, and as I'm going towards the target, I'm looking at the target, and that big circle is on the target. When you're shooting with iron sights, right, in order to hit the target, you have to bring your focus back from the target and put it on your front sight post, right? Because that's how we shoot iron sights, right? There's 3 things that we're looking at: rear sight, front sight, target, right? You've got to focus on that front sight, and the target's going to appear a little blurry in the back. But that's not a natural thing. So the natural thing is for me to focus on the thing that I'm trying to hit. And when I extend out there, I'm looking at my target, I'm focusing on my target, and that big circle is on it, okay? So I find that it's a lot more intuitive, a lot more natural. It's working a lot better. And I've been doing this for many years. I've been teaching for 12 years, so I've been shooting even longer than that. And I've only been really using red dots on rifles for like maybe the last 5-6 years. I've only been using red dots on pistols for the last year. So I'm coming at this from the background of iron sights, and I'm definitely seeing the advantage of optics. I first saw them on rifles. I see them now on pistols, and more importantly, I see it when I'm training other people, because hey, one of the things is, like, as a person that shoots often, that's been shooting for a while, I have that built-in muscle memory, right? But one of the things I study beginners, okay? What do they learn the fastest? That's really important to me, because here's the thing. I study beginners, I see what they learn the fastest, and by all means, they're learning red dots on rifles and red dots on pistols a lot faster than they're learning iron sights. And the reason is because when even an experienced shooter under stress, they're not gonna be thinking they're gonna things are gonna kind of fall apart. So I kind of study beginners to see what's easiest for them, because that's going to be the easiest for experienced people under stress. Okay. Now the other thing I wanted to talk about is the brightness, right? Because on rifles, usually we put the brightness down to the lowest possible level so it doesn't overwhelm the target. On the pistol, I do the opposite. I have it at a very bright level. Now this Holosun 507C has the solar panel here. When you use this in solar mode, it also has auto adjust. Okay, I don't want the auto adjust. Okay, I want manual adjust. I want to put this, sunny day brightness level. Okay, so the position that I can basically see this on a sunny day, and I use that all the time, even at night. So let's talk about that for a second. Why that's working better for me. Okay, it may not work great for everybody, but it's working really good for me. So I think it's something that you guys should consider. With a rifle, usually we're shooting at further distance. We have a little bit more time to set ourselves up. So we don't want that red dot overwhelm the target. Also, because the target's typically a little bit further, what's happening is if your dot or your circle is, sometimes it's even bigger than your target, right? It's bigger than your bullseye. So when I'm shooting at distance, I want to power down my dot so that it doesn't overwhelm my target and I can see it. But when I'm shooting a pistol, first of all, I'm shooting at a closer distance, right? And because it's closer, it's bigger. So if I got that big 32 MOA circle bright, at this distance, right, it doesn't overwhelm my target, okay? So same thing with that, with the 4-inch plate over there at about 30 feet. At this distance, even at a bright level, it does not overwhelm the target. Same thing applies at night. When I shoot this, at dusk or at night, I mean, yeah, it's really bright, overwhelms the target, but you're shooting this in an oh shit type of situation. You're not shooting at distance trying to get hits. You're basically, at night, you're gonna see a silhouette. When you pull your gun out, you wanna basically get that target, take that shot, okay? The other thing is, when this is bright, what happens is, at night, what I find is the brightness of that 32 MOA circle reflects off of the inside of the walls of the hood. So it kind of gives me a sense of which direction I need to move the gun in to acquire that 32 MOA circle if I haven't found it immediately. So that's why I keep it at a bright level even at night. Now here's the thing, if I find myself that I do need to shoot a little bit further at night, well, here's the thing, even in a defensive situation, let's say you got somebody shooting at you from distance, right? Well, your priority is to move to cover, right? Because at this distance, my priority is get the gun out of the holster, send bullets to the target that's right in front of me, okay? But at distance, okay, my priority is first to move to cover, all right? Then return fire, right? So when you move to cover, you pull your pistol out, right? You're behind cover. If you see that your reticle is too bright, hey, listen, you just power it down a little bit. You're behind cover. You've got the bad guy is further away. You've got the time to do that. So that's another thing. Now, one last thing I'll talk about as far as night shooting. On this carry gun, I don't use a light on it. I kind of covered this on other videos. The reason why I don't use a light is because, here's the thing. We were talking before about the Optic. It doesn't really take up much space, right? Because basically the holster's cut out a little bit over here. It doesn't change the size of the holster. Well, with the light, it goes over here. This is where the holster indexes to, right? This is where it basically grabs onto and retains the pistol. So what happens is if you put a light here, all of a sudden the holster has to become bigger. So now, you got to get a bigger holster. So that adds comfort issues, and issues where you got to change the holster. So in night shooting, what I have found, right, is first you got to identify the target, right? Well, you can't use the gun on your light anyway because you can't point a loaded gun, right, or even any gun, can't point a gun at something that you're not sure of. So you've got to use, a separate light. So you got to have a separate light. You put it on your bad guy's right there. You're shining it at him, okay? Then all of a sudden you see whatever, gun, knife, whatever, right? Now you go to your pistol, okay? At this distance over here, you've got a second, he's got a gun, you got a second to react. So when you go to your pistol, are you fumbling with the light or are you pulling the trigger, right? Because trying to get the light on is taking up extra time. You don't need to put the light on to shoot something right in front of you that you already identified is a deadly threat, okay? Now, it's not going to be, pitch black dark, right? Because remember, bad guys need to be able to shoot too. So it will most likely be low light conditions rather than dark. You need the light to see what they got in their hands, who they are, what their intentions are. You need the light, but once you identify that they're a deadly threat and you need to use deadly force, you go to your pistol. You're gonna see the silhouette where a second ago you saw, some crazy guy with a gun, right? So you just shoot at that silhouette because you've already done the identifying. Okay, so that's why on my everyday carry gun I don't carry a light. It makes the holster bigger, and in my opinion, in a self-defense type of situation, you're going to use this light first, and then from this light, you're going straight to your trigger. You're not going from this light to that, to your gun light, and then to your trigger. So that's why I just prefer to use a smaller holster. Now, on my home defense guns, right? My home defense rifle, my AR-15's got a light on it. The pistol that's paired up to my home defense AR first of all, it's a bigger pistol, right? It's not a G26, it's a Glock 17 or a Glock 19. That's got a light on it, okay? That's got a light that lives on it, okay? The holster that goes with that gun is a light-bearing holster. So for your home defense gun, yes, by all means, you must have a light on your rifle. You should have a light on the pistol that's paired up to that, all right? But that home defense pistol is usually not going to be your everyday carry gun because that gun's too big. For everyday carry, usually you're going to want a smaller gun. So for me, it makes more sense to put an optic on the gun because that's going to make you a better shot, and you're going to use this. Whereas the light on the gun, you're not going to use it, I think, in a self-defense situation. Now, the other thing I have found by having this optic over here, I am confidently able to take longer distance shots, right? So over there, those rims back there, that 30 yards, I'm able to shoot those with confidence, and even with this little G26, get 10 out of 10 hits pretty consistently. I posted a video on that, right? Where I'm hitting that rim over there 10 out of 10 times. I've been repeating that. I've been doing that repeatedly over the last 3 weeks. I cannot do that with my Shield 9. Okay, I can't. That optic makes me a better shooter. Now, obviously, the shooting fundamentals have to be there. You gotta know how to squeeze the trigger. You gotta know your follow through. You gotta know how to shoot the gun. But once you have all that, having an optic on your gun is going to make you a better shooter. But the other thing I have found is I can shoot targets at 50 yards, which I cannot do with a pistol. Even with a Glock 17 with iron sights, it's really hard for me to get any hits on well, not even a target this size, a target that size, right? On an 8x11 target, I'm lucky if I get one hit, all right, at 50 yards. With the optic, right, I'm usually able to get 4 hits, okay? And the reason is because I use that 32 MOA circle. What I do is I use the bottom of the circle, I anchor that in the center of the target, right? So instead of putting it at the center, I raise it up a little bit because the way it works is a circle and then you got these little notches, right? There's these little lines, top, bottom. I put the bottom line in the center of my target at 50 yards and I'm able to get, maybe 4 out of 10 hits, okay? And that's on an 8x11 paper. If I use a larger target, I'll get more hits. I can do that with a pistol that has a red dot on it in the way that I cannot do it with a gun that just has iron sights, right? Because it's a little harder to know what my holdovers are. Whereas with that 32 MOA circle, that's fixed. I know where my bottom of my circle is. I can put that right in the center of the target, and I can hold it there consistently. Okay, so. That's my feedback from you guys for about 3 weeks of carrying and shooting a carry gun that has an optic on it, and some of the things that I have learned that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, one of the things I just got in today, the Holosun 507 ACSS. Okay, that's got that little chevron, and it's got that 250 MOA circle that basically, if you're off a little bit, it helps you find your chevron. So I'm going to be testing that out in a couple of weeks or a month or two. I'll do a video on that. So that's something I'm looking forward to. The other thing I'm hoping to do is, because right now I'm using this G26, I would like to be using a G43, but the one, I've actually built the G43 Polymer 80. I cannot find a slide for it. Okay, I've been waiting for about 2 months now trying to get a slide in for that. So that's the reason why I'm using the G26 instead of the G43. And I even talked to my and the reason why I'm trying to build it is because I can't buy it. I spoke to my FFL. I'm like, hey, listen, if you can find me a G43 that will take an Optic, right? G43 MOS, dude, I'm not even gonna haggle about the price. Just get it and I'll pay you. So because I cannot find it, I'm trying to build it, and I've run into the problem where I can't find the slide for that G43. But once I get that, I'll also be testing that out with the Holosun 507K. Okay, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. We'll talk again soon.